I started my Etsy shop 7 months ago and I can't wait to tell you all about it. And in today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about why I think it's a good idea to start an Etsy shop even in 2024. Before we dive into the 5 reasons why I think you should start an Etsy shop, I have left a link down below in the description for 50 digital product ideas. So obviously on my channel I'm talking about digital products, so I specialize in that, and maybe start an Etsy shop with one of those ideas. It's absolutely free. Just click the link below and sign up for free. And also not to forget, if you do start an Etsy shop, there's another link in my description which gives you 40 listings for free. So make sure you click that, because I actually forgot that when I started my second Etsy shop, which was so, I don't want to say stupid, but it was kind of stupid that I didn't use those 40 free listings. It's about the 20 cents every time you publish a new listing. So make sure these are for free, at least the 40 ones, and the link is down below. Let's get started. So the first reason why I think Etsy is really good is because there are low or no startup costs. And I don't know, it might be obvious, but if you really think about it, that is really, really great. Because sometimes, you have your full-time job, but you don't have much money to really spend, so you can just start without a financial burden. Of course, Etsy comes with fees you have to pay, but apart from those 20 cents per listing, which I just mentioned, you only pay fees once you make a sale. And yes, it eats up a little bit from your profit, but if you know and are aware about it, you can work around it, maybe try to add this little costs, or just say like, okay, if I sell a certain amount of products, that's not a big issue for me. Just kind of accept it, to be honest. They are quite transparent about it, even if the fees are not that little. And also I talk about no or low startup costs. When it comes to digital products, obviously you need time to create your digital products, but in general, like, you don't have to invest in any inventory. You don't have to think about shipping, which I think is a big part, you don't have to really worry about. I think Etsy is a great opportunity to start something without spending a lot of money, and then obviously experiment and testing with different things, again, without spending a lot of money. Another thing which I think is amazing with Etsy is that you can reach a worldwide audience. Yes, it is quite US centered, so a lot of customer probably will be from the US, at least that's the case with me. But I also got in this review, it was sent out now by Etsy, telling you a little bit about the stats over the year, how your shop was doing. And it told me that I sold my digital products to over 30 different countries. And I think that's so cool. I mean, there are so many people out there, and then thinking that someone has your product and uses it on a daily basis is just a cool thought to have. And Etsy provides that. Etsy gives you that audience. It already has a huge audience. I looked up some stats, but in Q2 in 2023, it was about 96 million buyers on Etsy. I mean, if you have just a very small amount of those 96 million customers, I think you sorted, really. I think there's so much potential. Yes, of course, there's also competition on Etsy, which you kind of have to learn about it and work around it and make sure that your products are seen at least by a certain percentage of Etsy buyers. But still, there is so much potential in reaching a large audience. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's great to start an Etsy shop in 2024. And my reason number 3 why it's great to start an Etsy shop is because it's a huge learning experience, a journey you can go. If you're an absolute newbie and you have no idea how to sell online, then I think starting on Etsy is a very, very great first step. There's so much to learn within Etsy. It's about keywords, it's about photography or design in general. It's about how you handle customers, customer service. Like, you can just see Etsy as a huge experiment and also the opportunity to gain some skills to know how it is to sell online. So if you want to go beyond Etsy at some point, you know, start your own website, like a Shopify website, for example, or if you just want to sell on other platforms, I think you can just start on Etsy and learn as much as possible. Learn by watching YouTube videos or do a course, and then also do a lot of things by yourself and learn from your mistakes. I think one thing, you know, you are told is to know your audience, and it's a good advice, but I have to say when I started, I really didn't know who my audience was. Like, I could have obviously made up an audience and say like I want to cater to a certain audience, and it also makes sense sometimes when you have specific products, maybe you do know your audience from the beginning. But I feel like in the past 7 months I really got to know my audience much better and now have a much better picture about my audience, and I can now create products which even cater better to that audience. This is just one thing I learned being on Etsy, and I really enjoy it, and you know, I'm really diving into a whole new world of online shopping from kind of a seller's perspective. And I also think you don't need to know everything before you start an Etsy shop. Just start really and then take it from there. Another great reason is to be part of a community and have a purpose. I think Etsy is really great if you have a certain interest, for example, and you want to create products for serving a certain audience, which we just talked about, or you have an interest and you just want to explore, you know, what can you make and how does an audience respond to your product. And then the fun part is as well to join communities. So there's a broader, you know, community of Etsy sellers, but then there's so many groups, Facebook groups, for example, to join and exchange like your journey, your experiences with others, ask questions, like even make friends with like-minded people. I think that's a really great opportunity when you start an Etsy shop to tap into that area, because I think Etsy is quite a specific business you can start. You know, there's a lot to learn around Etsy, and it's really good to actually exchange knowledge with other people, and especially, you know, your emotional kind of journey with Etsy. It's good to have someone who goes through the same, and also having someone who just tells you to keep going, which I obviously intend with my YouTube channel as well, to make sure that we don't give up and we continue to improve so that we can make Etsy like a full-time thing. And my last reason why I think it's really great to start an Etsy shop is also to have an extra income stream. I mean, there's different things you can really do with Etsy. You can start as a side hustle, you can make it your full-time income, you know, you can just experiment on it if you have any ideas. Like, it doesn't really have any limits. You can really make anything you want with it based on your life, for example. You can treat it as small or big as you like. You can spend as little or as much time on Etsy as you like. So that is a bit of the freedom of Etsy. There are no requirements, no minimum sales you have to do with Etsy, for example. And especially in the times we live at the moment, you know, with the economy, it definitely doesn't hurt to try to think out of your 9-to-5 job, your one income stream, which I have thought about for years now. And I had some shaky moments where, you know, it was really hard to kind of think, what if we lose the job and we can't find a new job straight away? That is a big thing to think about sometimes. So Etsy could really provide you with a second income stream, with something you can maybe rely on, even if it's not as much as your full-time salary at the moment or when you start out. But yeah, I think that is definitely a big reason as well why to start an Etsy shop, and just try it and give it your best and be patient and persevere for a while as well to make it happen, because it really can benefit your overall life. So what do you think? Do you want to start an Etsy shop, or do you still have some concerns? If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I definitely give my best to answer all your questions. Plus, make sure to subscribe, and I see you in my next video. Bye!